Okay, Shabbat Shalom. We are going on Vayeilech on 23rd of Elul 5783. Vayeilech, and he went from Deuteronomy chapter 31 from verse 1 to 30. We have 7 aliyot here. What we're going to go through. So I begin Deuteronomy chapter 31 from verse 1 to 3. Moses went and spoke these things to all Israel. He said to them, I am now 120 years old, I can no longer be active. Moreover, Yahweh said to me, you shall not go across yonder Jordan. It is indeed your God Yahweh who will cross over before you, will wipe out those nations from your path. You shall possess them. Joshua is the one who will cross before you, as Yahweh has spoken. So Moses is addressing Israel. Okay, it says that he's 120 years old. So Moses is old, 120 years old, he's no longer active. And Yahweh said he will not cross. Yahweh is saying, you've come this far, Moses is not going to cross. So Moses will not cross over before Israel. It is Yahweh who will go across and he will fight the enemies of Israel until Israel will possess the land and Joshua will cross over in there. Yahweh has spoken. Okay. So there's something that Yahweh does, he fights. Yahweh fights for Israel. Okay. And Israel will possess the land. Or possess the enemies. And a new person has come in here, his name is Joshua. And it's Yahweh who has spoken. It's our first section. Second, and here, from verse 4 to 6 of Deuteronomy chapter 31. Yahweh will do to them as was done to Sihon and Og, king of the Amorites, and to their countries, when God wiped them out. Yahweh will deliver them up to you. You shall deal with them in full accordance with the instruction that I have enjoined upon you. Be strong and resolute, be not in fear or in dread of them. For it is indeed your God, Yahweh, who marches with you. God will not fail you or forsake you. So now, Yahweh who fights, as said, will do to them like Sihon and Og, the Amorites. So what he did to them, he did the rest of the enemies until he wipes them out completely. And so here he said he will possess them. So he delivered these Sihon and Og into the hands of Israel. And these ones are to do to them not like what Saul did. Saul did not kill Agag, he did not finish the Amalekites. He's saying this time, and that's why Saul got into trouble. Do to them in full accordance with the instruction that I've enjoined. So follow the instructions. Rules of war. So they're being given rules of war. Then they're told, be strong and resolute, or be strong of good courage. Do not in fear and dread of them, for it is indeed your God. Yahweh marches with you. God will not fail you or forsake you. So be strong. And resolute. So this is something that God says throughout Scripture, do not fear. You have to fear God alone. Why? Yahweh not only fights, he also marches. Marches with you, goes ahead of you. Okay? So he will not fail or forsake, nor forsake. Same thing that is said in the Great Commission. That will not fail or forsake. Those people, Jesus is saying, go into all the nations, baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Lo, I will be with you. Okay. Verse 4 to 6, when that third section, here we are, verse 7 to 9. Then Moses called Joshua and said to him in the sight of all Israel, be strong and resolute, for it is you who shall go with this people into the land that Yahweh swore to give them. It is you who shall apportion it to them. It is indeed Yahweh who will go before you. God will be with you, will not fail you or forsake you. Fear not and be not dismayed. Moses wrote this teaching and gave it to the priests, sons of Levi, who carried the ark of Yahweh's covenant, and to all the elders of Israel. So Moses calls Joshua. He's addressing him in front of all Israel. And he's saying, be strong. He's telling Joshua, now be strong and of good courage. Okay? You shall lead this people to possess the land. You're the one who will lead the people, because Yahweh has sworn. As Yahweh fights, he has also sworn. Our possession, he has sworn. And he will not only possess, but he will also apportion. He will divide the land. He will apportion the inheritance. Yahweh will go before you, he will march ahead. He will be with you, and he will not fail or forsake you. So he marches, he goes before, then marches with, then he will not fail or forsake you. So do not fear, be dismayed. Then Moses wrote down the teaching. This teaching, or Torah. Torah is a teaching. Gave it to the priests. This is Israel, gave it to the priests. Sons of Levi, custodians of the Ark of the Covenant, to all the elders. So many implications there, in saying giving it to the priests, are custodians of the covenant. Custodians of the Torah, which is a teaching which contains all the instructions. Okay? And then Ark of the Covenant. It's kept in here, and this is the centerpiece of Israel, the centerpiece of their success. Elders are custodians. They are custodians. Comes from the word zakar. Their job is to make sure it is remembered and put into practice to the letter. Verse 10 to 13. Moses instructed them as follows. Every 7th year, the year set for remission, at the Feast of Booths, when all Israel comes to appear before your God, Yahweh, in the place that God will choose. Yes? You shall read this teaching aloud in the presence of all Israel. Gather the people, men, women, children, and the strangers in your communities, that they may hear and so learn to revere your God Yahweh and to observe faithfully every word of this teaching. Their children too, who have not had the experience, shall hear and learn to revere your God Yahweh, as long as they live in the land that you are about to cross the Jordan to possess. Yes, so the next one is so this instruction, Moses says, 7th year, the Hebrew word for that is Shemitah. We'll do that teaching on that in some time. And it's a year of remission. God had a system where there would be forgiveness of debt, freeing of slaves, and land going back. So people would go back to their land in the Jubilee year, and then there would be debt forgiveness, I think, every 7 years, and so on, remission. Then he's saying this should happen at one of the 6 festivals called the Feast of Booths, or Tabernacles. This was to happen. Then, so all Israel is to be assembled at the appointed place. Okay? The place appointed is a place that it's his date with Israel, so he speaks the restaurant. So he's the one who says where they are to meet. At this point, there's no temple, but there's a tabernacle. So when the tabernacle is built, it was called the tent of meeting. You decide sometimes it's Shiloh, or sometimes they'll move, and so on. So at his appointed place, he's the one who's going to make the appointment. And then verse 11, read this teaching aloud. Yeah? When all Israel comes to appear before your God, Yahweh, the place that God will choose, you shall read this teaching aloud in the presence of all Israel. The presence of all Israel. Okay? All Israel. So, this instruction is to be read aloud. It's good. So gather the people, men, women, children, strangers, they are to hear, to learn, and to serve. So, what part of, who else? So apart from these ones, so we have men, women, children, and strangers also, like just beforehand, men, women, children, kids, and strangers. So all of the whole society is there, including foreigners and strangers of Israel. They are to hear the instruction, they are to learn to revere Yahweh. So that's the only person they are to fear. They are not to fear anyone else, they are to fear Yahweh. Then they are to observe carefully every word. Okay? Observe. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds the mouth of God. So the children who have never experienced Yahweh, who do not know about the deliverance and haven't gone, they don't know Yahweh, they are to hear when it's being read aloud. They are to learn, okay, They are to hear read aloud so that they can hear and learn. So, hear and learn throughout their stay in the land. So let them hear and learn. Okay, so that they can be obedient throughout their stay in the land. There are children too who have not had the experience shall hear and learn to revere your God Yahweh as long as they live in the land that you are about to cross the Jordan to possess. So there's something about land. Okay, so that's very key. Okay, fifth aliyah, 14 to 17. Fifth one is 14 to 19 actually. Yahweh said to Moses, the time is drawing near for you to die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tent of meeting, that I may instruct him. Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. Yahweh appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, the pillar of cloud having come to rest at the entrance of the tent. Yahweh said to Moses, you are soon to lie with your ancestors. This people will thereupon go astray after the alien gods in their midst, in the land that they are about to enter. They will forsake me and break my covenant that I made with them. Then my anger will flare up against them, and I will abandon them and hide my countenance from them. They shall be ready prey, and many evils and trouble shall befall them. They shall say on that day, surely it is because our God is not in our midst that these evils have befallen us. Yet I will keep my countenance hidden on that day because of all the evil they have done in turning to other gods. Therefore write down this poem and teach it to the people of Israel. Put it in their mouths, in order that this poem may be my witness against the people of Israel. The poem may be a witness against the people of Israel. So Yahweh is talking to Moses. Okay, here he's talking to Moses. And then it's time to die. This is 120 years. It's time to die. Okay, so it's to summon Joshua. Okay, and they had to meet in the tent of meeting, God's appointed place. So they went. So Moses and Joshua in the tent of meeting. Okay. Now there's the Ark of the Covenant in the tent of meeting. Apparently there were. Okay, and then 15 Yahweh appears. So imagine Yahweh comes. Moses calls Joshua and Josh, and they go into the tent of meeting. And when they are inside, Yahweh appears, he comes and packs his cloud, but they are outside. Then he goes inside. Pillar of cloud, his glory. And he rests at the entrance of the tent, and everyone knows, hey, he's come. And Yahweh says to Moses, you are soon to die. Israel will stray after other gods. When he dies, these ones will stray. Israel will stray. Okay, so the issue of other gods will come in. Okay. Israel straight to other gods. All the other gods, they are the works of men. You are the most high God. There is none like you. Alien gods in their midst. This is what happened in the Garden of Eden. God makes Adam, then makes Eve. God makes Adam say, don't eat from the fruit. He makes Eve, and they stray to another god, serpent. They forsake. That's what happened in Eden. And God is saying, these ones will forsake me and break my covenant. Okay? They will break this covenant. You can already foresee on that day that he's giving it. Okay? And then he said, what will happen? My anger will flare against them, and I'll abandon them and hide my countenance. They shall be ready prey. So he will get mad. Okay? So he gets mad. Yahweh will be angry. And make Israel ready prey. He hide his countenance, they shall be ready prey. And many evil and trouble shall befall them. They shall say, God is with us, therefore evil has come upon us. So there's anger, divine anger will come, and then divine abandonment, and then he'll turn his back on them. Then they'll be ready prey to the enemies. Then many evils. And we'll say, God isn't with us. He isn't with us anymore. The story isn't over yet. He will keep his countenance hidden because of all the evil, because of all these evils, and this idolatry. In idolatry. So he's telling him, write down this poem, okay? Teach it to them, put it in their mouths. It's a poem that is meant to be written down. So, it's a poem here. So it says, write it, teach it, put in the mouth, that's memorized. Like loyalty pledges, I pledge my loyalty to the president of the nation of Kenya. What is the poem? The poem is going to be a witness. It's going to be God's witness against Israel. Readiness and duty to defend the flag, the flag of a republic. My devotion to our national, my life spent and serves the task much. In the living spirit of Harambe. Okay? That was our loyalty pledge for Kenya. In primary school. So Moses was to do something like that. And it was put in our mouths. It was written down. We recited it every week. It was taught to us. It was in our mouths. We recited it. Yeah? That pledge is, that loyalty pledge is a testimony against us. Sixth, from verse 20 to 24, chapter 31, when I bring them into the land flowing with milk and honey that I promised on oath to their fathers, they eat their fill and grow fat, and turn to other gods and serve them, spurning me and breaking my covenant. The many evils and troubles befall them, then this poem shall confront them as a witness, since it will never be lost from the mouth of their offspring. For I know what plans they are devising even now, before I bring them into the land that I promised on oath. That day Moses wrote down this poem and taught it to the Israelites. And God charged Joshua son of Nun, be strong and resolute, for you shall bring the Israelites into the land that I promised them on oath. And I'll be with you. When Moses had put down in writing the words of this teaching to the very end, All right. You're there. So this land we are talking here, the land that is described and flowing with, is a milk and honey. Milk and honey. This land is a land flowing with milk and honey. It was promised on oath to our fathers. From our fathers. It was promised on oath to the fathers. The fathers are usually Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. When you're full and fat, idolatry comes. Full and fat. And Sodom and Gomorrah says in the book of, I think it's Jeremiah, is that it? Ezekiel actually. It says about their sin. And they were full and fat, and they turned to idolatry. They turned to idolatry. They turned to other gods. Yeah, then they spurn Yahweh. And they break the covenant. They break the covenant. Many evils and troubles. Many evils and troubles will follow them. Troubles and trouble. Many evils and troubles. My poem will confront them as a witness. This poem will be a witness against them. Never lost from the mouth of their offspring. I know the plans that they have before they enter the land. Yahweh already knows. Yes, already He has preempted. He has preempted that these guys, yeah, He has preempted. He has preempted. These guys are, yeah. He has preempted. That day Moses wrote the poem, taught it to Israel. So Moses wrote it down and he taught it to Israel. He already knows. He knows in advance. He already knows plans. Plans of disobedience. Have. So that was compulsory co-curriculum. Primary education. Everyone must know the poem. God charged Joshua, be strong and of good courage. Be strong and take courage. Be resolute. Shall bring Israel to Canaan. Shall bring them the promised land. Okay? And I will be with you. And Yahweh will be. When Moses had written these words of the teaching at the very end, there is a celebration going on in the neighborhood. 7. And as we celebrate, Vayeilech, Deuteronomy chapter 31 from verse 25 to 30. Moses charged the Levites who carried the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, saying, take this book of teaching and place it beside the ark of the covenant of your God Yahweh, and let it remain there as a witness against you. Well, I know how defiant and stiff-necked you are. Even now, while I am still alive in your midst, you have been defiant toward Yahweh. How much more then when I am dead? Gather to me all the elders of your tribes and your officials, that I may speak all these words to them, that I may call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that when I am dead, you will act wickedly and turn away from the path that I enjoined upon you. That in time to come misfortune will befall you for having done evil in the sight of Yahweh, whom you vexed by your deeds. Then Moses recited the words of this poem to the very end, the hearing of the whole congregation of Israel.